Travis, my good soul. More child faith comment reply videos that I see. I got 2 more pages added this morning. Great. We still have to do the Edward Johnson email comment reply video for you guys. As he provided me with the 2019 Articles of Incorporation of the Corporation of the Presiding Bishop. So we got bombshells coming. And because Stanford's gone missing, I had to do the research myself and found the answers to the questions that I had. And so all of that will be dumped on you whenever I get to the Articles of Incorporation. Now understand, Judge Shelby, we're still waiting for him. He bailed on us again for a 3rd week to give a ruling in the 13 FOMOs who are suing over tithing as a donation. Dumbasses. Dumbasses. Every Mormon knows. Every Mormon knows it's not a donation. It's the law. Section 119. Oh my hell. That makes a huge difference in the ruling of this case. And so, yeah, it would be great if we can get legal counsel to submit a friend of the court brief to Judge Shelby, simply pointing out we need to make a correction for both parties, which will have an impact in the resolution of the case, in which you referred to Section 119 and quote it, where it says it's the law. All Mormons must pay. They have to pay. It's the law. It's not a donation. I get to choose. Dumbasses. James Huntsman, you too. Dear God. Got these billionaires who are able to buy a whole fleet of lawyers and they botch it, calling it a donation. But it's bad enough that the lawyers for the church, who are also Mormons, who also know it's not a donation, are lying, maliciously lying to the court. And they're not getting busted. And even Chief Judge Shelby, FOMO himself, he knows. This shouldn't be complicated. Church isn't true. Lock them all up. Case dismissed. God. Anyway. So much to do, so little time to do it. Oh my God, a dream this morning was just humiliating. I am never going to recover. Never. I can already hear women all over the world laughing at me. What are you doing, dream character Travis? Stop! Don't! No! Oh my God! No! Don't do it! Oh, you did it. We're doomed. Yep, Con Air. Never gonna make love again. So, child faith. How do I live? Ooh. Do I want to cry? No. Oh, do I? Oh boy. My associative memory gets me into trouble every time. Put down the bunny. Why couldn't you just put down the bunny? Awesome show. Can never watch it. It's a guy chick flick. It's a guy flick. A daddy-daughter movie, of course. That's why I cry. Child faith. At 40 minutes in to the fleeing Mormon video, fleeing fugitive Mormons, which another daddy-daughter movie. Yeah, those get me. At 48 minutes in, have you written a book or PDF on academia or a video playlist about how this new Zion system will work? Yes. Life, liberty, and property sounds so simple yet so powerful. But don't buy it. Needs to be updated. See, while I was indefinitely incarcerated for violating the Utah law of following the Constitution of the United States of America, how dare you! And it's like the people who made American Primeval, it's like they've been watching my channel all these years to assemble it together. I'm just, oh my God, how did you guys know? How did you know? Oh my God. And so yeah, daddy-daughter thing, daddy-son thing, mother-son. So yeah, I'm not bawling in this one. I'm cringing over, oh my God. What did the Mormons, oh my God, the Mormons are doing what? Oh, I can't watch. And yet they're still too tame in the show. Still too tame of what they really were like. And I think Woolsey must be the John D. Lee character, because they still have not introduced a John D. Lee yet. And so I'm thinking that in order to preserve the identities of the actual persons, which the church then comes out and complains about, you're ruining the church, you're setting us up for harm. No, if they were accurate with the names of the guilty parties, only Brigham Young seems to be the direct character involved. But yeah, I'm not finding John D. Lee involved in any of this, and yet Woolsey seems to be the guy who was the John D. Lee character. Especially after the guy in charge of his one particular party and the go-between between Brigham Young whipped him for getting caught. So I'm thinking that's John D. Lee. But I don't know, maybe they left John D. Lee out of it altogether. Hollywood liberties gets you every time. And so yeah, it was stake president or stake something. There it is. Let's see. How do I open? Open with. Just open. Oh my God. What are you doing? What are you doing? And why are you over there? You were cooperating once in the other video. Stake Temple Center Complex proposal. And so, yeah, while I was indefinitely incarcerated for 6 years for filing a petition for redress of grievances against the church in the state of Utah, including the state of Utah, I had the Hinckley dream, and after the Hinckley dream, boom, everything just flooded my mind as to how to build, design, create, and run Zion. And so when I got out in 2014, right before the Latter-day Big Show, I then realized, okay, so it wasn't all in vain. Maybe I will be able to put this to use. But realistically, understanding human behavior, that they don't want to do the perfect way. And so I have to factor in a system for human behavior. And so the little pamphlet book that I made for Amazon, don't buy it, is a Stake Temple Center complex proposal with temple and storehouse. That's what you were asking about. And so yes, I did a variation of it, similar to my big game, my big civilization board game, that I likewise, while indefinitely incarcerated for the rest of my life, got out in 6 years, I also finally figured it out how to make it work. And so yeah, the guards thinking that I'm some big bad mean old terrorist for filing a petition for a redress of grievances, when they do the strip search, cavity search, we're going through my documents and going, what the hell is this? It's a board game. A board game? A terrorist making board games? Yeah? Nobody understood why I was there. It didn't make sense. Right? Curtis Allgaier, Brian David Mitchell, easy. Dear God. Yep. Locked up because I'm a translator. Joseph Smith is true. Book of Mormon is true as Jewish. So I have to die. So yeah, I use the current system in place to have this accomplished. To have the perfect system that I came up with, but using the human frailty version of the system that is currently in practice. And so thus, stake centers would have a major complex that includes a temple and a storehouse. And so there was some changes to the way things were being done back in those days. And following Joseph Smith in his Doctrine and Covenants about tithing, that it's for the storehouse, and thus would be perfect in this system. But nonetheless, Bishop immediately sent it back to me saying, no, you're not allowed to have inspiration for how to run the church. Current system we have is perfect. You're not allowed to be the decipherer of Paleo-Hebrew. You can't do that. Nope, not at all. Well, I did it. Deal with it. Alrighty. And so, continuing on. So if the Big Bang is false, what do you mean if? There is no test. It is false. You have to have a test. They don't run a test. And so they continue on with all these other shows branching off as if the Big Bang is true. And so, yeah, it's great sci-fi entertainment, but that's as far as it needs to go. It can't be legitimized. Nobody ran the test. It's like Journey to the Center of the Earth. There's two versions. The Rock was in the one, and then the Scorpion King, or not the Scorpion King, the Mummy reboot series, modernized reboot, because there's been several reboots since the original Mummy. But Brendan Fraser, there it is. His version of Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's great. The guy writes a book about, passageways into the center of the earth and supernatural stuff incur. Great entertainment when put into a movie form, great read, etc., etc. But until you actually find a hole to the center of the earth and it proves to be true, otherwise, that's great. Brendan Fraser's character is talking to the Swedish girl. Oh my God, the 14-year-old boy, hilarious. He knows how to flirt. No, none of you have dibs. So humiliated. Because I said, I have dibs, and then she went and said that, and I went, oh, whoops. Hilarious. It was a trap. They set me up. And so, yeah, you can't, nobody's finding it. Same with Bigfoot. You gotta find Bigfoot. You can't just claim it's true and you develop a whole theory and never bother to test it. You gotta get Bigfoot. You gotta get the space alien. At the, whatever, Area 51. You gotta get the evidence. Because otherwise, you start talking about all sorts of speculation, nonsense, conspiracy theory crap, which is not a theory. You redefine words to botch everything. And so, yeah, the Big Bang never happened. And so, what other creation beginning explanation do we have that can be tested and proved? If any, of course. What do you mean? Did you not listen? The vegetation theory. It's the law. The law of vegetation. It's been around forever. It is confirmed every single time with every single species. Plant or animal. It is established. And so, sure enough, even astronomers know the vegetation theory works in space. A sun builds itself up and then blows, and then seeds are scattered all across the universe. And those seeds produce planets, and asteroids, and comets. And then there's explosions that occur with the hydrogen that collides with each other and forms suns. And they know this, and yet, Big Bang? Oh, I think I found proof of the Big Bang! No, you didn't. You did not find the Book of Mormon plates. You don't know the truth. You're branching off into nonsense, getting the church in bigger trouble. Vegetation. It works every time. All right. So, if Darwin, what do you mean if again? Darwin is a dumbass. A white supremacist hater. I don't know if he's Christian nationalist, because he seems to be against Christianity. And I think he's Jewish, or at least came from Jewish. But so am I, but I'm not Jewish. I'm one of the ones who are Hellenized. If Darwin is false, then what is true? What do you mean? Vegetation theory. Hello? All seed produces after its kind. The design in the seed is what the fruit result is. There is no mutation that's involved. And even a Chinese scientist who had to flee the country after finding out learned that you can actually take a damaged part of the DNA strand, just remove it, and it grows back perfect. That's resurrection. And so, there still is a worldwide frowning of human experimentation. And so that's why he had to run and flee for his life. But you know, all governments, or most all governments who are doing DNA research, have a public disclaimer that they would not do human trials, human testing. But you know they are. You know there's somebody out there, groups of people doing human experimentations on this. Ever since Hitler, everybody, well, even Babylon. Babylon started it, doing the super soldiers, the pure white master race of sheep for the Babylonians. That's where it comes from. They found out through sheep testing that if you breed 2 pure white sheep, you only get pure white babies. Whereas if you introduce either a spotted sheep or a black sheep, you're going to get black sheep or spotted sheep. You pollute the whiteness in the sheep. They figured that out. And so when you see the Qumran community of the Jews during the Roman period time writing the laws of Leviticus and the sacrificial offerings, and they talk about an unblemished animal, they're referring to that Babylonian discovery and practice of the pure white master race of sheep. Just hilarious. And so, yeah, it's kind of amusing also that the Star Wars clones that I see you talking about, laughing about, likewise, they're not really clones. And that's where Christians go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when they hear about scientists cloning humans. You can't clone the spirit. No, you're missing the whole point. It's just creating a twin. And so it happens within a woman's womb, but scientists can now do test tube babies. That's all it is test tube twins. Cloning. It's not really cloning. It's creating twins. And so, yeah, all you need is a knowledge of how they run their tests, and then you can realize that there's no need to panic, that they're not playing God. They're not creating God sperm. Or the spawn of Satan. Again, great for Hollywood entertainment, have no basis in reality. And so, yeah, that's all Darwin and survival of the fittest, natural selection, And we came from chimpanzees, and lizards, and rabbits, and dinosaurs, and amoebas. All that is crap. A seed can only produce its design. It cannot produce anything else. But that's what Darwin was trying to claim. That's why we have kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. And people, instead of going, wait a minute, Darwin's a dumbass, are branching out from it. And so now we have subspecies as a category, which, again, great entertainment. That whole series, the species, and even the subspecies movies. But are we created by a creator? Yeah, your dad has God sperm. Holland explains all of this. Your dad came from outer space to your mother's chambers, raped her, and created Jesus. You, God sperm. Real simple process. And yet, because of the first creed of Christianity, everything gets thrown up on. Is there proof or premises we can test and establish facts from? Yeah, vegetation. The law of vegetation is a very powerful explanation. See, you just needed to wait and listen. But we don't need an explanation of the origin of this law. What do you mean we don't? You're talking chicken and egg, aren't you? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? See, we need to obtain the evidence to develop a theory and run the theory test for the chicken and the egg. Otherwise, it's all speculation. It would be useless to speculate. I mean, great for Hollywood entertainment, but it can't go beyond that. You know, even the Bering Strait theory is all crap because they aren't testing it, and they're using as their excuse, well, it's all buried underwater. We have the technology now, and nobody is running the test. Nobody. And so, yeah, I'm still with the moon landings. Why aren't we sending humans to the moon? We can prove that we, America, having failed to get a rocket into the air, all of a sudden went to the moon with humans and chimps and a dog named Spot. Bo. Dog named Bo. Came to mind. Interesting. But anyway. Gotta run a test. If there is no test, you can laugh at them. Right, Mormons? If you're going to claim the missing plates theory, you have to perform a test, and you can't do it, because then you have to claim, well, Moroni took them. You've just opened Pandora's box. Good job. Because now you have to establish Moroni is true, and Moroni is now missing. And then I can take you to the Joseph Smith papers and say that it's not supposed to be Moroni, he's Nephi. And then you get all defensive and angry. Church is true! Christian Jesus! So, anyway. LOL, DEI, Star Wars clones. So you do understand, though, in Star Wars, what they were actually doing wasn't cloning, they're creating twins. And so Jango Fett, I believe, is the Project Zero, or That's another zero. I can't, anyway. Yeah, it's his sperm. He had to donate his sperm. And they then had to scoop out the eggs of all the women in order to do this cloning thing. But because of the knowledge of the sheep guy in China, you don't really need her eggs. You just need her cell, remove the nucleus from that, and then put the Jenga Fett cell with the nucleus in its place, and thus produce twins. And so it's a thing, but it's not cloning. Then next, at 1 hour, 17 minutes, 38 seconds, 1 hour, 17 minutes, 38 seconds, theories equals prophecies. Yeah, you're making a prediction. That's what a theory test is. You're making a prediction. You can't just prophesy and don't give a time frame of when the fruit would be produced, because then how do you know if it's ever going to be true or if it's going to be false? Oh, the prophet gotcha. You can't judge me. Matthew 7 is now worthless because you've removed the revelation from the prophecy, the day and the hour. You've got to be able to run the test. That's the whole test in Matthew chapter 7 for prophecies of prophets. If the time comes and the prophecy isn't fulfilled, false prophet, they're a loser, move along. You know you can't trust them. Okay? So, wait, I thought theories could be wrong after tested. Yeah, so can prophets. And I thought prophecies could never be wrong. Yeah, they can. It's called a false prophet. Matthew 7. Come on, child faith. Come on. All right, moving on over. And, okay. At 1 hour, 19 minutes, 22 seconds, I really want to learn this. I'm sick and tired of being manipulated and told what to do. Run the test. Being chastised and ridiculed for using critical thinking. Do you have a master class for this? Zion projects. Galore projects. Or will this master class only be available after Zion is established? If Zion gets established. If. Not when, if. Mormons. And then 1 hour, 47 minutes, 5 seconds. Yeah, that's hitting me now. I don't want it to be true. But then everything else is just blatantly a lie, and that I can't live with. That's why I'm back over and over. I'm getting harder and harder to cheat on you at this point. You're cheating on me? Oh, right, you're going to other channels. Too hard to cover the sun with one finger. It can be done. You just have to get it out far enough away from your face. Otherwise, you'd have to do that, which then would work that way, but... Alright. We're cruising on over. Okay, and yeah, this is... Yeah, that's right. This is James's comment that they turned into child faith. But we did all these. Okay. Alrighty, so we're into the new stuff. We're cruising for a bruising. On Mormon Jesus Christ goes off script. We have John Ferradino again. He's back. And first one says, wait, William Morgan made it down to the port of New Orleans? Not really. He sent them by ship. And then the ships would dock at the port there in New Orleans. And then the Yorkite Masons would take the goods and then sell them in the United States. And so the guy that disappeared or was killed by the Freemasons on 9/11. Well, yeah, but no, he wasn't. So let me go over this one again, since it's been forever since I've repeated this one several times in videos. 9/11, 1826, William Morgan gets falsely accused and is locked up in jail as a death threat to shut up, don't keep working on your book, or we're going to murder you. That's what they do. That's what they did to Joseph. And so Joseph Smith Sr. is the Master Mason. He is required, being the Master Mason, to protect his fellow lodge brothers. William Morgan is a lodge brother. He came to Joseph Smith's lodge to work on the book. And so now he's in trouble. The enemy knows what he's up to and what he's making. And so Joseph Smith Sr. is the one who had him taken to Niagara Falls to cross over into Canada, where there would be a place for him to hide out. And Thomas Monroe was going to expose this. And so he then died, whether it was going to be him narking and exposing William Morgan to the enemy, or whatever happened. But Thomas Monroe was found floating in the water, dead, with William Morgan's clothing. That was their first hope, that people would think that he was murdered and dumped into the waters in Niagara. However, the wife of Thomas Monroe, having complained that he went missing, didn't come home for dinner, was taken to the body and made the identification that it was her husband. And she panicked and said, "What is he wearing somebody else's clothes for? Those are not his clothes." And oops. So their attempt to cover things up failed. Joseph Smith Sr. did not take William Morgan. He had other Masons in his lodge take him up. It may have even been Miller with Masons out there in Batavia who took him. But whoever the guys were that were on trial and got punished less than the sheriff who went searching for the body and hired a tracker, and the tracker is the one we know this information from, that he was taken up into Canada and Thomas Monroe's body was found. But he also had found bones that was also led to deceive as if it were William Morgan's body as well. So they had several fake bodies planted around to try to throw people off the trail. Those all failed. And so in Canada, we learned that he was given the choice to stay there, which it's a good thing he didn't, because they would have found him, because all of the other distractions failed. And the tracker was able to track him into Canada. And that's why Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball did their missions up in Canada. It was because of their knowledge of this. And so he chose instead to take a horse and head off to the East Coast to board a ship. And that ship we know sank from the storm. But fishermen found his body, because we know the rest of the story. The descendant of William Morgan had written about it way back in 2017 or so. And so I don't know where it would be in my files if I still have it. Because right before the 23rd of September 2017, I was cyber attacked. And so I've got a drive that I don't know how to retrieve the information from. I don't have the technological smarts to figure it out. So I don't know if there's anybody else out there that knows how to obtain that information, but I don't know if I don't know. But anyway, it may have been afterwards as well. Nonetheless, the story goes is that the fisherman took him to the Caribbean islands, and he lived there as a fisherman, and he had found another woman, married her, and began having a family with them. He can't go back to his wife and kids because they're trying to murder him, and they will use his wife and kids as leverage to murder him, to get him silenced and shut up, which is a good thing that I don't have anybody in my life, because the church can't use them against me. That's why when I got this apartment, the church thought that they could use my brother against me. And they threatened my brother to attack me and destroy me financially and ruin me and silence my YouTube channel by threatening him to destroy his life if he doesn't do it. He failed. His life got ruined. He's out $2,000 and utter humiliations galore, not as much as my dream this morning. But that's what they do. They use family against those they want to conform and comply. So like Heretic with Hugh Grant. Exactly. Take everything from them, and that forces them to be under your control. Just didn't work with me while I was indefinitely incarcerated for 6 years of my life, while they were trying to slowly murder me. It did not work. But anyway, and so while out fishing one day in the Caribbean, storm came, sank. Again, saved by other fishermen. This time, they took him and his family to Bolivia, where he established a banana plantation farm out there in Bolivia, and the bananas were then taken by ship, not him, to the port in New Orleans, where Yorkite Freemasons knew all about him and know about it, so that they can be in charge of getting it sold in America and keep the secret. And it did, sort of, because the guy who's telling this online thinks that the church knows all about it. He doesn't understand that Brigham Young's the enemy that wanted to murder William Morgan. And he says he thinks the church knows about it because he talks about baptizing William Morgan for the dead in 1838 to resurrect him. Zombie apocalypse. As well as his wife with her new husband lives across the street from Joseph Smith in Nauvoo, but then go with Brigham Young. And so he thinks that the church is true. He thinks that Brigham Young's the good guy. He doesn't understand that Heber C. Kimball is the one who knows that of what happened on 9/11/1826 from his his masonry posting on Wikipedia. And so the church has a center down there nearby. I checked on the map from what he was saying, and it's not that near. There's other banana plantations that are closer, but nonetheless, I can see what he's talking about. And so it's unclear if the church knows or if it just happened to be that they're there near where William Morgan was, but nonetheless. So that's the rest of the story. He was able to get away, his life was saved, and thus the Book of Mormon got published. That's what they were writing. And so yes, again, with the picture this morning, it's very clear. Anybody could have figured that out, and yet nobody did, and it was just me. Because there's more scriptures that use that same sign in the heavens. Joseph Smith's second vision. Yeah, it's not a coincidence that Lehi's second vision and Joseph Smith's second vision are an exact same pattern match. So when Joseph is talking about the Urim and Thummim, that's the date, 23rd September 2017, for the coming of the Jewish Christ in verse 40. New name Nephi, not Moroni. Joseph knows what he's talking about. But you got Mormons who are deeply brainwashed into this nonsense that Christianity somehow is true, despite Joseph Smith saying in the first vision it's all wrong, abominable, and corrupt. As we all are required to leave it out when we're doing the first discussion with investigators on our missions. We can't bring that up. So yeah. And then next, John says, an attack on the Super Bowl? What? No way. I hope no way. It would be sad. But again, in that video, the church hates Taylor Swift. They think she's a porn star. They think that her music is of the devil. And they don't like it that Mormons love her music. Which, what was the theme song in the description below? Taylor Swift. And so, yeah, this church has to let Mormons know that the church is in control. That they need to stop listening to this evil spawn of hell. And thus murder her, as it was those who were funded through the church's humanitarian aid to murder her. The church paid to have Taylor Swift assassinated. This is what Mormons refuse to get simply because they want the church to be Christian true. And so, yeah, I hope it's not going to happen, but Oaks said he's going to murder us. And the righteous Mormons will be resurrected for Easter. So yeah. The video I did also previously, I don't know if it was, I don't think it was this one. Well, maybe it was this one. But where I go over the whole plot of the church. You need to pay attention to that. This is the whole point of me doing research and running tests. To put all the pieces together that the church is the enemy. They are not good, they are not true, and there is no Jesus. And so, yeah, they're the cause of terrorist attacks, especially by Islam, because the church pays Islam. That's the Judas price. And so, yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all if there's a terrorist attack for the Super Bowl, or at least a threat, just like there was for New Year's, which was in accordance with George Albert Smith. Where are you, Idaho chick? What the hell? Where are you? That was all you. All right, back to child faith. And this time, the Islamic State Caesars Superdome terrorist threat. And I probably should have put Taylor Swift and Trump in the picture like I did this morning. That should have been the thumbnail picture. And I knew better, but it was too late. What's the meaning of this again? At 0.07 seconds, which means it's not the title of the video, and so that would be the thumbnail picture. Yeah, Super Bowl. An attack on the Super Bowl? What? No way! That's all. Oaks sent the threat, not me. 13 minutes, 2 seconds in. How does Thomas B. Marsh prove? He doesn't. It's me. I ran the test. Thomas B. Marsh filed an affidavit to the governor of Missouri, which then produced the extermination order of all Mormons. Because Thomas B. Marsh, even though he says these true Mormon Danites told me that Joseph Smith ordered them to do this, to go into town after town after town, murder, rape, loot, and burn them all to the ground. As Thomas B. Marsh witnessed the Danites taking the loot to Adam-on-Diamond, to the bishop storehouse in Adam-on-Diamond. That's in his affidavit. And so he, under orders he thought from Joseph Smith, but was actually the Danites, saying that Joseph Smith has ordered us to go and help in the fight. And so he went with the one group of Danites that told him to do this. And that's where he finds out that they're not actually at war with anybody. They're the cause of it. They are going around town to town attacking people. Just like American Primeval. Exactly like it. And so people then believe the church that Joseph Smith did change the name of the church. That's what these Danites told Thomas B. Marsh. It's now the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is what they were telling other Mormons now. We are now the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so David Whitmer is threatened by these Danites. Join us or you and your family dies. And so he got the hell out of there, went and talked to Oliver Cowdery about this, and said they changed the name of the church. Joseph Smith changed the name of the church. Oh my God, you're kidding me? He changed the name of the church to Jesus? And no Exfo Nevermo catches on to this. They know about the pamphlet that Oliver Cowdery wrote, but they're not putting it together. And so, yeah, Joseph Smith, according to the Danites, has a mental breakdown, decides to now practice polygamy, changes the name to Christian, and is a murderer, a thief, a rapist, a child rapist, an adulterer, just the most evil of human behavior. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, with the New Saints collection, says, yeah, Joseph Smith raped little girls and was an adulterer. Church is true. Join us or die. Oh my God. So in section 117, that Brigham Young published the year before he died. There is no original document in the Joseph Smith papers that can confirm that this is legitimately from Joseph Smith. It does not exist. And so they're saying that this was written by Joseph Smith at Far West, Missouri on July 8th, 1838, before everything hit the fan. So pay attention to verse 11. Let my servant Newell K. Whitney be ashamed of the Nicolaitan band. Who are they? There's a footnote. You should check the footnote because it sends you to Revelation chapter 2, verses 6 and 15. Oh, it's a code word. Why didn't Bruce R. McConkie decode this? Because the 1981 triple, the Doctrine and Covenants, was decoded by the church. The Community of Christ, for example, still keeps the coded version, even though I think the new female president had given all that up. That none of it's just Christian now. They want nothing to do with Joseph Smith, but the church didn't want the bones of Joseph and Hiram, so they still got those. But everything else they sold to the church at the beginning of last year, so that Nelson can try to save face for failure to finish the temple so that Jesus could suddenly come to his temple. Loser! Move along! Okay? That's the Danites, the true Mormons that Thomas B. Marsh was explaining to the governor of Missouri. And so you have these Danites of Brigham Young. Brigham Young's writing as if they're not associated with the Danites. Those are other people. It's just like in the Book of Mormon story I did the other day again. Nephi tells them how to identify who the murderer was, who murdered his brother, the chief judge. And he tells them, ask him, was I, Nephi, in league with you to murder your brother? And he says, no. Nephi had nothing to do with this. I was not working with Nephi. Nope. Was it you? He clears Nephi's name, and then he gets exposed. And they got him. And so again, nope, Joseph Smith was not associated with the Nicolaitan band. Oops! Because the Danites said he was. You're still claiming he is, by claiming that he changed the name of the church, that Adam-on-Diamond is where Jesus is going to be given the keys of government to rule the world. And it's a secret combination. Don't tell. And therefore, tithing from section 119 is true. And a whole long list of stuff because of this boo-boo here. All because They want to establish Newell K. Whitney as the bishop. Come up to the land of Adam-on-Diamond and be the bishop unto my people, saith the Lord. It was Patrick... forgetting his name. Not patrimony. Oh my God, forward. Search. Bishop. Can't remember his name. Edward Partridge. Okay. Edward Partridge was the bishop, not Newell K. Whitney. Joseph already had Edward Partridge as the bishop. And so this was because of what happened in 1838. The Danites used Newell K. Whitney's store for all the loot during their war against America. And so Brigham Young, in order to verify and solidify and legitimize this, the year before he died, created Section 117 to show that Joseph Smith legitimized Newell K. Whitney as the bishop. Legitimized Adam-on-Diamond. This is all a Danite plot. And this is why Brigham Young forgot that the Danites were telling all the Mormons Joseph Smith is the leader of the Nicolaitan band. And yet, Brigham Young confesses the year before he dies that they lied to all Mormons about Joseph Smith. He is not the leader of the band. He is not a child rapist. He is not an adulterer. He is not a murderer. He is not a thief. He did not change the name of the church. All right there in that one verse, in this one section. All of it is blown up. And so no, it wasn't... Who did you say? Thomas B. Marsh? No. It is Thomas B. Marsh's affidavit that we have to this day because it was a government filing with the extermination order, that we know that Section 117 is a forgery. That we know they lied to Thomas B. Marsh, claiming that Joseph Smith was the leader of the band. Which that could be the theme song in the description below too. Leader of the band. Okay. Isn't Joseph Smith condemning the plundering and everything that Marsh is describing the Danites are doing? Yeah. It's an easy breezy cover girl thing, but all expo never mows miss it. Likewise Mormons. Everybody wants to believe that Joseph is the bad guy, or as Mormons say, the living true prophet of Jesus. And so we can commit crimes because Joseph did. 1336. This plot is happening now. Yeah, it's the latter days. 23rd September 2017. It's been the latter days. Yes, the plot is on. Why am I doing videos again? Bang my head. Mental health will drive me mad. When it says that the gospel will be taken from the Gentiles and then carried to the Jews, does he mean Christian Mormons will become Jew Mormons? Jewish? Kind of need to put Jewish, not Jew Mormons. Gentiles to... Oh, there's only two. So let's not push my luck here. And so, yeah, it's all Mormon doctrine. So the first one is 1 Nephi chapter 10. And it came to pass after my father had spoken these words, he spake unto my brethren concerning the gospel which should be preached among the Jews, and also concerning the dwindling of the Jews in unbelief after they had slain the Messiah. Yep. And so, yes, this is an interesting situation that he's setting up here, because he uses Bethbara to baptize beyond Jordan, which is a controversy in and of itself with Christians. Baptize the Messiah with water. And after he had baptized the Messiah with water, he should behold and bear record that he had baptized the Lamb of God. Revelation 19. Who should take away the sins of the world. And it came to pass, after my father had spoken these words, he spake unto my brethren concerning the gospel, which should be preached among the Jews. So that's Joseph Smith with the Book of Mormon. The gospel should be preached among those who join the church. Mormons of Joseph Smith. And also concerning the dwindling of Mormons of Joseph Smith in unbelief, wanting to be Christian. And after they had slain Joseph Smith, Messiah ben Joseph. 2 Nephi chapter 3 verse 5. Well, all of section 3. 5 includes Messiah ben David, who should come after he had been slain. He should rise from the dead. Hello? Erection, insurrection, resurrection. And should make himself manifest by the Holy Ghost unto Gentiles. Mormons who become Christian because they don't believe the Jewish Christ of Joseph Smith, whom they slain. Joseph Smith Sr. is brilliant with this revised 116 pages. Brilliant. And so the taking away from the Lamb, that's the great and abominable church, taking away from the gospel of the Lamb many parts which are plain, most precious. He doesn't use pure here anymore. And also many covenants of the Lord have they taken away. That's the great, the abomination of desolation that he's referring to also with that. From the Greeks, when they took over the Jerusalem temple, tore down the altar, rebuilt their altar, and began offering their sacrifices, and began the practice in the Jerusalem temple of prostituting women in the temple sex. The abomination of desolation. That's exactly what Brigham did. He took Joseph's altar, destroyed it, put his altar on, and began doing his temple covenant path with the underwear of the symbol of prostituting Mormon women, forcing to pay tithing to have sex with a Mormon only, being sealed in the temple. Exact same pattern. And Joseph knew it. Everybody knew it. So yeah. And so after many generations, the Messiah shall be made manifest in body unto Mormons, says the children of men. Then shall the fullness of the gospel of Joseph Smith come unto the Christian Mormons, from the Christian Mormons unto the remnant of our seed. I'm a third great grandson of John Solomon Fulmer. And depending on whether you're older than I am or younger, depends on whether it's a third, fourth, or fifth, or second. Some may be fifth, but they don't watch my channel. Okay? And so, at the day when the Christian Mormons shall sin against my gospel in the Book of Mormon, 3 Nephi 16, and shall reject the fullness of my gospel, and shall be lifted up in the pride of their hearts above all nations. Yep, prophecy fulfilled. Book of Mormon true. And above all the people of the whole earth, and shall be filled with all manner of lyings and deceits and mischiefs, and all manner of hypocrisy and murders and priestcrafts. He knew about section 119 before even forming the church. And whoredoms and secret abominations. And if they do all these things, and shall reject the fullness of my gospel, behold, saith the Father, I will bring my fullness of my gospel from among them. And that's what I've been doing. Pushing the Book of Mormon as Jewish. Shoving it in their faces. Picture I did this morning. Amazing how much a difference there is when you use Jewish interpretation and not Christian. So that's all the same. Okay, Mormon chapter 5. And also that the seed of this people may more fully believe his gospel, which shall go forth unto them from the Christian Mormons, for this people shall be scattered, and shall become fence sitters from the premortal council in heaven. Because obviously Mormons are white supremacist Christian nationalists. And thus, that is hilarious. That is Mormons to a T. Oh my God. Priceless. Mormon chapter 7 verse 8. Therefore repent and be baptized in the name of Jesus. This is the reverse of Isaiah, and that's the prophecy of Isaiah's Emmanuel. And lay hold upon the gospel of Christ, which shall be sent before you, not only in this record, but also in the record which shall come unto the Christian Mormons from the Jewish Mormons of Joseph Smith, which record shall come from the Christian Mormons unto you in the latter days through me. For behold, this is written for the intent that you may believe that, and if you believe that, you will believe this also. And if you believe this, you will know concerning your fathers, and also the marvelous works which were wrought by the power of God among them. Prophecies and revelations fulfilled. Okay. So yes, it was done with the Bible as well. Senior is using that to teach Mormons about joining the church of his son Christ. Behold my beloved son Joseph Smith Jr., in whom I am well pleased. And section 14. I must bring forth the fullness of my gospel from the Christian Mormons unto the Jewish Mormons, the new Israelites, house of Israel. And behold, thou art David. So it's David Winter here. And then finally in section 107. Let's see. The 70 are also called to preach the gospel and to be especial witnesses unto the Gentiles and in all the world. And so, yeah, that's for missionary work. So that's actual Gentiles, which are Christians, and to others in the world, thus differing from other officers in the church. Okay. Yeah. So you know. You just don't know you know. As John, by the way, told us, especially for youth. So that we can strive to be perfect, not actually be perfect. Okay. Will become, Jewish Mormons. All right. And then... 2239, what didn't Mormon know? Not sure I understand what you mean. I'd have to go and listen to the video at that point in. What didn't Mormon know? Mormons know. Oh, I think I put it on the picture. Mormons don't know in there, didn't I? Which is why I would have made the picture and put that on there. Mormons don't know. Yeah, Mormons are using Christian interpretation. So they don't know. They don't see it. They don't understand it. They don't know what's going on. They don't believe me. Just like they didn't believe Joseph Smith. And they still don't, generations later. The cornerstone of Joseph Smith was rejected by Mormons. And yet, I am using Joseph Smith as the cornerstone as the capstone. $32.07. So, the church receives donations from them? No. Church is paying the Judas price through donation, humanitarian aid. Now, yes, the church does quid pro quos, and so they in turn receive a financial compensation as well. So, for example, when we went and paid Putin for a temple in Russia, oh, where is that temple, by the way? We gave them money. Where is it? What did we get for it? Well, we got $32 billion through 13 different LLC companies that Fox News Utah's Max Roth exposed in May after that April conference where Nelson got up to start his reign in ministry and said, "in a major city yet to be determined in Russia." Oops. And then I've done the videos where it was Orrin Hatch in Congress who fought with Sherrod Brown, Senator Brown, over the financial bill being rushed before the end of the year rather than kicking it down into the next year. Orrin Hatch was ordered by the church to get it passed, and they had ordered Trump to make sure that it got passed. And sure enough, we would find out after the fact of it getting passed that it allows for LLC companies not to report where they get the money from. And so, wow, good timing for Monson to die. So no, it's not donations. There's no such thing. Repeated that. And then we have, what an awesome video response. I'm finally understanding you more and more. And we're done. Yay, we're all caught up. So it looks like I can do the Articles of Incorporation next while everybody's watching the football game and won't watch the video.